Thank you for clicking on the video. If you're above the age of 16, please ignore this and continue on into the reaction. However, due to my diction, the nature of the content that I sometimes cover, and COPPA regulations, I hereby ask that any viewer who is under the age of 16 to click off the video and wait until you have reached this age benchmark to return and continue watching. You have been warned. Additional information may be found in the description of this video. Enjoy. Welcome everyone. My name is Mr. Twitchy. You can just call me Twitchy if you want. I'll quickly explain what type of video this will be since you just sat through my 30-second COPPA disclaimer. I've watched up to episode 70, and this will be the first of 7 podcast-like videos, each covering about 10 episodes, with the exceptions of 54 to 61, because I did skip those. I won't be covering any filler arcs, but I will be watching the filler episodes if they're singular or just a couple of them. I love to theorize about manga and anime, simple as that. It started off with my fascination for My Hero Academia's universe, and then I found Townsy's channel, link in the description. After joining his Discord, everyone in there told me that I had to start up One Piece. I'm really glad I did. I'm loving the hell out of it thus far. I didn't think I'd make any YouTube content per se, so I did only take screenshots of those episodes, just like funny lines, badass moments, certain pieces of dialogue that built up the world for theorizing purposes. So now I'll briefly go through each episode with my thoughts based on those saved screenshots. If I've developed any of those theories that I was talking about during an episode, I'll interject it with them into my review for each one. As a final note, I tend to be a long-winded individual, so if you've made it this far without clicking off, genuinely, thank you. Please expect this type of content moving forward, with live reactions, various manga and anime. I'll have more on that later. Alright, let's do this. Alright, so episode 1, it was pretty solid. Nothing really earth-shattering for the first episode, just kind of setting up where Luffy and I guess Nami, where they're at in the same timeline for the East Blue. Nami kicking that guy in the balls is pretty funny, unexpected. I know in the manga, Luffy was in the barrel because his ship got swallowed up. And actually, it's a cool little ode in the intro when he has him punching that sea monster, but more of that on episode 4. But that was a pretty nice nod. Kobe, interesting enough character at first, kind of the coward, but the fact that he wants to join the Navy, but it was inspired by Luffy, was pretty unique. Luffy saying, "So if I die fighting for that, that's fine with me." Love that line. I noticed on that screenshot that he also has the scar underneath his eyes. I know in the manga that he cut himself to prove to Shanks that he was tough enough to be a pirate. That would have been cool to introduce into the anime, but I don't fault him for it just because, you know, One Piece, they do have to have some sort of censorship. Nami stealing the treasure from Alvida, pretty funny, as Luffy has the main sort of attention span. And Luffy yeeted Alvida all the way into a weight loss program. Cool. Alright, so that's episode 1. Now looking for Zoro in episode 2. Alright, so episode 2, Zoro got crucified for the small girl and her mom. I respect that. Didn't know him, didn't have any reason to do so other than his pride as a man. Zoro's already my top character, and that was just from before I even started One Piece. Badass swordsman, green hair, everything that I like about a character to start, just from looks alone. Axe Hand Morgan. Okay, the first character from the One Piece series. It's kind of weird, but I still kind of like his design. Broken jaw, kind of like a mouth guard like Deku. That was pretty cool. I did notice that when Luffy went to go get Zoro's swords, there were 3 of them. 2 of them were one color, and then the other one was more of a beige. Interesting. We'll see where that goes. And then Luffy comes in and saves Zoro's from the pellet shots from the Marines. Interesting that bullets don't necessarily work on him. I wonder if cannons would at this point when I was watching. Obviously, I know now what I know, but that was the end of episode 2. One of the first cliffhangers of the series, obviously the first episode didn't really do much, but the second one I really felt that after you just got shot at, and then to be continued hit you. That's rough. Episode 3, the first lore drop of the series, only 3 episodes in, that's pretty good. First screenshot that I have is Zoro saying, "I use 3 sword style." Notice that he does have 3 golden earrings on his left ear. I wouldn't say it's a really good prediction that he might increase either the number of swords that he uses in battle, or B, the number of earrings as he increases his sword style, but we'll just have to look forward to that in the future. Devil fruits. Love the imagery that Oda used, calling them devil fruits and then showing them in a cross formation. Excellent. One of the powers is to breathe fire. I don't know how useful that would be on the sea, but we'll see. And then the next devil fruit power that they hinted at was the power to cause tsunamis, which ironically would not be very useful on land. Okay. The secrets of them lie within the Grand Line. That was the first line that really got me thinking about the origin of devil fruits. Now, I have been pseudo-spoiled on what has not been revealed, if that makes any sense. I was told that even caught-up manga readers don't know a lot about them, so it's just fun to theorize, even when they don't know. Zoro single-handedly parrying 7 different blades from all the Marines. Badass. King of the Pirates would need no less than the best swordsman in the world on his crew. Now, the first episode, I was questioning why Luffy only wanted 10 crewmates. You're going up against monsters such as an individual that starts with the letter K. Manga readers, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. You're going against Big M. You also know who I'm talking about. And you're going to take them on with just 10 people? Oh, Luffy. Colby saying he doesn't want to get in Luffy's way. That was so amazing. Just the character development in just 2 episodes is fantastic. Zoro saying, "My pleasure, Captain." Best line of the series so far. Love Zoro. Zoro realizing that there's only one other crewmate besides him, and that being Luffy. Oh, that was pretty funny. And then the final scene with Luffy beating up Kobe. I was very confused at the naivete of the Marine officer saying, "You guys aren't friends." A little on the nose, don't you think? He wasn't beating him up before you came in. But then he allowed him to join the Navy, even if it was just as a chore boy, which was pretty cool. Then the final scene of the episode to where they're all saluting him, and then they go on a food hiatus for 3 days as punishment. Right in the feels. Episode 3. You love to see it. And that's the end of episode 3 with Shanks being hinted at. First things first, this was the best episode of the series up until that point. I think you guys will come to see that I do really love all of the backstory episodes. And as a result, this was the first episode I gave an S tier, certified Twitchy seal of approval. That was a mouthful. But I did love it. One of the first screenshots I have here is Shanks saying, "Luffy, I can't even give this to you," referring to his straw hat. Now, I have a couple of thoughts on this. It could be that a family member gave it to him, or a close friend. I'm leaning more towards it being a close friend, because a little bit later, when he's facing down the mountain bandits, he said, "I'll hurt anyone that hurts my friends," or something along those lines. Luffy wearing the anchor shirt. Now I know in the manga that was his nickname because he couldn't swim even before eating the devil fruit. That'd have been a nice addition to add to the anime, but it's alright. Devil fruit being purple. I did take note of this when Buggy ate his devil fruit. I believe it was dark red or purple. I want to say it was dark red. So that's something to keep an eye out for, any of the devil fruits that we do see, what color they are. Shanks telling Luffy to spit it out as he drops him on face first onto the floor of the bar. It was hysterical. I know in the manga that they did do the Luffy trying to run away while Shanks was holding his arm, and both are good. I did like this one a little bit better just because it was the first experience that I had with the backstory, but to each their own. Now, I love the drawback to them being anybody that eats a devil fruit not being able to swim for the rest of your life. Luffy just took bullets in the previous episode, so it would have been too overpowered for him to be able to take bullets and not have any sort of drawback for the gum gum fruit. So I did like that they added that. When Shanks told the mountain bandit who was pointing a gun at him, each time you point a gun, you put your life on the line, and then he immediately gets taken out by one of his crewmates. Whew, that was the first time I got chills from One Piece. I did not think that was going to happen. He just headshotted him point blank range. Need I say more? The scene with Shanks and Luffy with the sea monster where he just looks at the sea monster and he runs off while missing an arm. Hella emotional. Just that one scene alone causes to be S tier for me. Then as he's leaving, he decides to give Luffy the straw hat, thus starting this whole cycle of Luffy trying to be the Pirate King. Loved it. One of the best things I would say about One Piece thus far, this is only 4 episodes in, but I'm talking about 70 episodes that I've seen, is the way that Oda portrays emotion on the human face. A lot of his designs, at least for the facial features, can be like caricatures. But I think that works well for showing different types of emotion in terms of sadness, joy, anger, because you can do so many different small detail, or you can change so many different small details on the face, whether it be the lips, the eyes, the shadowing. Any of it can portray different types of emotions, from sadness to like despair to complete depression. I'm talking about depression. The next screenshot that I have is Luffy smiling gingerly. Ugh. Just from one extreme to the other. And then, after the sadness that was that backstory that got me in my feels, then Luffy gets carried away by a giant bird. Oh, what a fantastic episode. Alright, so episode 5 starting off pretty solid. Luffy saying, "Don't touch my treasure," referring to a straw hat. And I think that might be a recurring theme in One Piece, whether it be not just trying to find the One Piece itself, but having something that you yourself call treasure. Just a thought. Nami being a thief who only steals from pirates. I love it. I don't know why. I just think that it's clever that she's kind of a thief with a code. Buggy saying, "How did the map get stolen so easily in the first place?" We left the door wide open with no locks, so it was pretty easy to take. Are you kidding me? Oh, he is much more forgiving than I am. Nami saying she'll earn 1 million berries no matter what. Ugh. The hindsight of this quote, it hurts. It hurts me in future tense. But moving on. Same thing with "I only like money and tangerines." Luffy asking, "Why am I in a cage?" Which is nowhere in the world, just straight-faced question. This'll be fine. He's the dog on fire in a cage. This is fine. Nami thinking that apologizing to Buggy would help fix the situation. I love Buggy's voice actor, by the way. That high pitch kind of reminds me of Ironaka from My Hero of Season 4, if you've seen it. And Zoro coming in with the save. Excellent. Why does Luffy just say whatever's on his mind? The fact that he called him Big Nose. And then to end the episode, the only other screenshot that I have is Luffy's goofy face as Zoro somehow flips the cannon while Nami still has the wick lit so that the buggy ball can be shot back at Buggy and his crew. Luffy's so carefree, I love him. Episode 6. So obviously I had to take a screenshot of Zoro carrying Luffy in the cage with the stab wound in his gut from Buggy. What more can I say about the guy? Zoro's a badass. He's carrying the team, and he's actually carrying Luffy right now. Why are the animals in this world so damn big? I first noticed when Richie the purple-maned lion was standing above Luffy, and then I also realized from the intro that a lot of the fish were huge in comparison to Luffy's ship. I don't want to know if that is answered later in the future, but it is something that I am thinking about at this point. Luffy asking, is it wrong to be alive? I don't know why I found that humorous, but I did. Cho-Cho standing up to Richie. Oh, get him, Cho-Cho. And the fact that the pet food shop actually went up in flames despite Cho-Cho's best efforts. Oh, that one was rough. Probably my favorite line from Luffy up until this point, him saying, you don't need to apologize now, because that dog's treasure is never coming back. That's why I'm gonna kick your ass. Luffy, kudos. I appreciate you sticking up for a random dog that you don't know. And then the pastel shot where he tells Cho-Cho, you fought good, just kind of has that like almost childlike innocence in the drawing. Excellent. Mayor Boodle saying there are fights a man cannot run from. And then simultaneously you have Zoro saying an injury to my name is much worse than an injury to my gut. Favorite character. Keep saying it. He keeps doing it. Nothing more to see here. Nami saying I'll never be a pirate. Press X to doubt. Episode 6 ending with both Zoro and Luffy smiling as they stare down Buggy and his crew. Episode 7. I'd probably say that this was my least favorite from the set of 10 episodes that I watched. I did not like the acrobatic dude. He's the second character behind Axe Hand Morgan. That was just weird to me. Although I will say that the name of his attacks were pretty clever and humorous as well. Old Man Arsonist. Murder at the Steam Bath. The Dance of 100 Kamikaze Tops. A Hike in the Mountains. Fireworks in the Cool Summer Breeze. Sting of the Unicycle. What? Where do you come up with this type of stuff? I just love how Luffy cheers on Zoro saying so cool, him being like the parallel to the reader and how we would likely be reacting to the situation. Him fighting the unicycle guy with an injury to his gut, that being the handicap. You'll love to see it. Luffy saying stay out of Zoro's fight as Buggy tries to interfere. That's my captain. Speaking of weird names for attack, Buggy has quite a few. The Chop Chop Rice Cracker, the Chop Chop Quick Escape, the Chop Chop Cannon, in which he tried to interfere with the fight. I wonder who had the strange naming first. Was it Buggy or was it his crewmate? I'd have to say it's probably Buggy, and then the unicycle guy took after him. Does it really matter? No, but it's still fun to think about. I love the way that they shaded Luffy's eyes when he saw that the Straw Hat got nicked by Buggy. Him saying, how dare you? And then Buggy definitely dared him because he then skewered the Straw Hat himself. To end the episode, the last screenshot that I have is Buggy saying, he's the one person I absolutely can't forgive, referring to Shanks. Which, as subpar as this episode was, I would say that 8 was probably my favorite of the 10 episode batch, but we'll get onto that next. Alright, so episode 8, the second of the 10 episode batch that has my S tier certified Twitchy seal of approval. Excellent, excellent episode. I love all the lore that they dropped, so I'm just gonna get right into it. First screenshot that I have is Shank saying, you don't know what it means to be a pirate. This is definitely foreshadowing for the rest of the series of what it means to be a pirate. Before I got into One Piece, I was wondering how they were going to have like a shonen-like series, but make it so that it doesn't encourage illegal acts in our real life world. Buggy holding the map with the X marks the spot seemingly underneath the water. Now, this was the first screenshot that really got me thinking about my first theory in One Piece. At this point, I was thinking that the One Piece might actually be a devil fruit tree underneath the ocean, and the reason why all of the devil fruit individuals who have eaten a devil fruit sink is because they're trying to return to the bottom of the sea where the devil fruit tree originated from. Shanks saying, "We think differently, so we should just go in our own directions." Great motto, not just in anime, but for life. If you just think differently from other people, move on as long as it's not hatred. One devil fruit would sell for around 100 million berries, and yet somehow the pirate intern known as Buggy was able to eat it? Who decided that? Like, that's one of the best treasures I'm assuming that you can find on the oceans. 100 million berries, and you're just gonna let the intern eat it? He must make some really good coffee. Buggy's face when Shanks surprises him from behind and he stuffs the devil fruit in his mouth. I don't know why, but it reminds me of Pokemon when he makes that kind of bloated jowl face. Really good. And then Shanks actually saving Buggy's life despite putting him in that predicament by eating the devil fruit and thus losing his ability to swim. I love the line where Buggy said, "If underwater's no good, I'll just obtain all the treasure on land." Now, there might actually be a counterpart to him in the One Piece universe to where they can only collect the treasure underneath the ocean. I'll have more on this in my second video or my third video, I'm thinking, where you have Arlong pop up. I'll save that for then. I took a screenshot with Luffy looking at the top half of Buggy flying at Nami, asking her to give back his treasure, and all you see is the bottom half of Buggy. I know immediately what's gonna happen next. He's gonna get a good swift kick in the balls. But surprisingly, that's not what Luffy does. He tickles the bottom of his feet. Another screenshot that I have is Small Buggy. Now I know that in the manga he does have a cover series with the adventures of Small Buggy, and then after they defeat Buggy, Nami saying, "It's alright, I'll fix it for you later." I love the character development in just a couple of episodes to where she was gonna sell him to Buggy for her own skin, but then she regrets it just 2 episodes later. Great. Even further development when she splits the treasure into 2 bags, one for Luffy, one for her. Even further development when she gives him a map of the Grand Line. Just the character progression just keeps going up and up and up. Luffy acknowledging to the rest of the town that he was the one that actually knocked out Mayor Boodle, and he's just smiling as he runs away with Zoro in tow. And then Cho-Cho pops up and allows them to leave. Just believable plot development that did have some sort of foreshadowing. I don't know how I ever could have guessed that. And then finally Luffy leaving one bag, his bag of treasure, for the townspeople to rebuild their town. Luffy's great. And then Luffy going to drown Luffy underneath the waters their boats sail out to sea because he gave away half the treasure. Oh, this dynamic with the crew is going to be great, and we only have 3 of them so far. Last screenshot of the episode that I have is Usopp just standing menacingly, which is great in dichotomy with who his character is. Save more of that for the next episode. Episode 9, The Boy Who Cried Wolf. I mean, The Boy Who Cried Pirates. Sorry. Expect those type of puns moving forward. I don't have a lot for this episode in terms of screenshots, so I did have to extend the episode a little bit. Now, speaking of puns, I know that the Japanese word for liar is usotsuki, and Usopp's name starting with uso, meaning lie or to lie in Japanese, was pretty cool. Luffy telling Zoro, "Yeah, we need a cook and a musician." Now, I know who the musician is, what that character's name is, but since that's not going to show up for another, 200 plus episodes, I won't name drop them yet. It just seems odd that he would want a musician before, like, all the other positions that I could possibly think of, like a sniper, i.e. Usopp. Hand-to-hand combat, I guess he's got that down pat to where he doesn't worry about that. He could have other captains underneath his fleet. I know that fleets haven't been brought up yet either, but that's just another idea that I had. Like, why a musician? Usopp saying, I sent the wind of excitement into this boring village. That was pretty cool, especially the fact that he's chilling up in a tree as he said that. The Usopp pirates with their little wooden swords. Adorable, if their faces didn't look like fruits. His underlings asking, what good is a pirate who's afraid of pirates? This is probably one of the best parts of the episode just because I love the irony in that quote. It just sets up Usopp's character to be the coward who overcomes his constant fear. Luffy falling for Usopp's bluff, saying so cool as he's got 100,000 men on the island, supposedly. Smug Nami is best Nami. And then Luffy bringing up the quote from Shanks saying, now that you've drawn your pistol, you've put your life on the line. I love the generational handing down of values is great in Naruto. I think that's one of its best features for Naruto. And just to see that in any other anime, it really gets me geeked because of how much I love Naruto. We're talking One Piece, so let's move on. Both Zoro and Luffy looking badass as they stare down Usopp. You'll love to see it. And they were just kidding, of course. Luffy name-dropped Usopp's dad, Yasop. Came completely out of left field. I think I remember seeing on his headband back for the episode 4 for the Shanks episode that he did have that bandana with his name on it. I just didn't put the pieces together with them being related. And then Usopp taking out just a square piece of a shrub so that he can get into Kaya-san's mansion. Security needs to be fired. That is terrible. And then the 3 children calling Nami an old hag. Oh, their eyeballs are bulging the fuck out of their eyes. Props to Usopp. So he actually tells lies, i.e. stories, to Kaya-san so that she can actually feel better about her solidarity being sick. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And Klahadore. Goodness gracious. I knew immediately this guy was up to no good just because of the way that he pushed up his glasses. Only villains do that, to quote All Might. And that's it for episode 9. Episode 10. This time I also don't have a lot of screenshots saved for this episode, so this will be relatively quick. Django doing the moonwalk the entire time that he's traveling down the road. One Piece. I love it, love it, love it. Klahadore saying he was kicked off the ship he worked on. I immediately thought of pirate ship. There was no other thought in my mind, just by the way that he pushed up his glasses. He's evil, he's a villain. Kill it with fire. One of the kids saying a weird guy's is backwards walking this way. MJ. Them actually calling it the rich girl assassination plan. Compared to Buggy, your names are kind of mundane, guys. But in terms of the actual plan, them using his hypnosis to make her write her will before they kill her, that's actually really clever. I loved Usopp's face when he smacks Luffy in the chest for revealing their position to the 2 schemers down below. It's just so funny. And then Usopp showing a lot of emotion at the end of the episode, running back towards town to try to warn them of the plan for the pirate invasion. Tears coming off of his eyes. Overall, a solid batch of episodes. I wasn't quite sure what I was expecting when I first started One Piece. There are a couple of great episodes in this batch, but overall it just got me really ingrained with 2 characters, Luffy and Zoro. And then it also got me interested in what Nami was up to, what her motivations were, and then how this whole mini arc with Usopp's island was going to play out. And if you somehow made it this far, I want to thank you once again for watching. I know this video is going to be about 40-ish minutes long. So thank you. Thank you for watching. I'll try to get better and stutter less in the future. I was pretty nervous. Last but not least, go ahead and check out the description for me. I have a couple of things in there that might be useful for you to look at, including my Reactor's Code of Ethics. That'll be more so applicable for my live reactions, but even still for these catch-up videos. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.